All right, welcome to the first midweek episode of Guaranteed News. I just figured one episode a week isn't enough. If it's going to be news, I got to come more often, so pause. If it's going to be news, I have to create episodes and content more times of the week and more frequently, so I'm going to start doing that. It's going to start with these midweek episodes at the very least. So let's get right into the first story. I'm going to do like a couple of days more of listening Veeze and Uzi's second album review. And I'm going to start with that Uzi. I think it may be the best album of the year. And I'm not exaggerating. The more I listen to it, the more creative it is, the more complete of an album it is. And then the bonus tracks, he does what Uzi always does when you did get the deluxe or the bonus tracks. They're always some of the best songs on the album. And with this one, it's different. He dropped 2 songs that are SoundCloud-like gems. That if you know about them, you know. And from song 17 to song 14, he had probably one of the best song runs I've heard in an album this year easily. Those 7 songs, song number 7 from Died and Came Back to song 14, Nakamura, that might have been alone. That could have been an album alone, and I would have been happy with that. So go listen to that Uzi. What I would say with people not liking it, you got to go listen to it and make yourself like it, because that's different. I think that's album of the year. More stuff is dropping soon, but that's album of the year for me. Now let's get into that Veeze. The lyrics just came out for it. And I said when I did the third episode of Garrenteed News that just dropped a couple days ago, every time I listen to that Veeze, I hear something different because the lyrics with it are just so crazy. And what he says is crazy. And just reading the lyrics now while listening to it, it's like he rapped like this. It's like it's weird. It's different. It's just like when you do listen to what he's saying, it's insane. I was just talking to someone about it. I'm like, do you think he punch in, or do you think he kind of just go and then just do it again to make it sound crisper? And they were like, he punch in, and I could see that too. But it's just crazy to me thinking how wild the stuff he says is. He just punches in, because you would think with that you kind of just have to let it come out. As far as just punching in, pause again. But Uzi and Veeze, both of those albums, the more that I listen to them, the better they get. But the Uzi, I said the Veeze I think you should listen to earlier this week, but I definitely think that Uzi is better. But let's move on into our second story. Ferg, you're going to see this. Just find a way to make it cut good, because I'm going to take a little bit of time. Just pull up what I want. All right, so for July 4th weekend, we're going to get into our second story. July 4th weekend, there was a couple of mass shootings that happened. One in Philadelphia that killed 5 people, some of them teens. Another one in Fort Worth, Texas, that killed, I think, at least 3 people. And a third one that happened even earlier in the week. The only reason I want to mention this is because with the mass shootings that happen in America every 2 weeks, it feels like at least even me saying this, I can say for me personally, we become very desensitized to mass shootings, and it's almost like a part of life. A part of life here in America where we just, it's another one of those cycle stories that I feel like I've talked about before. And with these mass shootings, every time it happens, you wonder if something's going to happen to change this, or it's going to be something good that makes this stop. But that's probably going to be like how it is usually, and we're going to wait a couple of weeks for it to happen next. I know I always say I hate for Guaranteed News to be sad stories, but I feel like I have to mention that and at least make it, bring an awareness to the fact that that's how I feel. Next story is going to be happier, I promise. All right, for the third story, if it's not happier, at least it can be a little bit more entertaining. We're going to get into a little bit of sports. Damian Lillard finally requested a trade from the Portland Trailblazers, and it is about time. I feel like Portland Trailblazers fans, basketball fans, sports fans can all agree you can't be mad at him for requesting this trade with the whole loyalty conversation. It's all fair to say that Dame gave Portland everything he has. He's been with them for I don't know how many years. I can't even remember when he was drafted or when he went to Portland. So now let's just have a conversation about what teams he could potentially go to. Brooklyn Nets. And I'm reading an ESPN article that's talking about it. Brooklyn Nets, Clippers, Heat, 76ers, and Spurs. Now, the 2 teams I like most are first the Spurs, because I think just Ricky Wembanyama, Damian Lillard guard, with, dang, why can't I think right now? I told you I'm not the basketball aficionado. Let me pull it up. Popovich. I don't know why I couldn't think of that with Popovich, that coach. I think it could be a really good team. It's definitely not a championship team, so if you really want the championship team, the other one I like is going to be the Heat. I said the Heat need another scorer when I was talking about it right after the finals, so I think that's the one that the Heat could need if they were able to get Lillard. Now, everything I've been hearing with that, though, is that the Heat don't really have a trade package to give him, but that's what I think the best would be. So it's going to be interesting to see where Lillard goes. It's going to be more interesting with the NBA next year. And I promise you I'm going to have better NBA talk coming. I'm going to be getting more into basketball. I'm going to force myself because I got to give you guys what you want. Pause again. My bad. Let's move on. All right. Next story in this midweek episode. Sorry about that. Harvard is being sued over legacy playing a factor in admissions, and this directly connects to what I was talking about in episode 3 of Garrenteed News Again, with the Supreme Court voting to take away affirmative action of college admissions. I talked about legacy admissions, but I just brushed over it because I thought it was something that was, just normal, and it connects to what I was talking about a couple episodes with the Joe Biden situation, where if you are in a position of power, you're going to do whatever to help your family. So if your grandfather, father, great grandfather all went to Harvard, okay, and they make it easier for you to get into Harvard, it is what it is. But I think it is fair to say objectively, if you're going to say that it's not fair for your race to be taken into account with your college admissions, it also shouldn't be taken into account your family and your blood. So it's going to be interesting to see how this case goes out and how the Supreme Court votes on this, because it is very, 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 very the same thing of it's not fair, and that's what the whole talk of affirmative action being taken away was. It's not fair, it's discriminatory. I know I said that wrong, but you know what I mean. And so is this. So I love to see that. We'll see what happens. Next story, U.S. approves lab-grown meat that is basically chicken from cultivated cells. Lab-grown meat, lab-grown chicken. So they say that the cells that are used to create this are made from real fertilized eggs and real live animals. But I don't think there's much to say about that outside the fact that now there can be live-grown meat. And I don't want to pull it up, a real lab tested, approved. What can you say about it? And for the last story of this midweek news, Instagram is dropping threads to compete with Twitter. And the first thing I want to say with this may be a real connection to, I may have been wrong about the Elon Musk and Zuckerberg fight. It could have been just for marketing publicity. This could be something that makes me think that even more, but sorry for thinking that it could happen. I mean, I was still true in the case that look at all the other fights that we've seen happen. And I still stand on the fact that if it does happen, I think it'll be entertaining. But I do think that could show that it's a little bit maybe of a marketing stunt. All that being said, I'm not going to get Instagram threads. I mean, I'm just too lazy to. I know Elon has been running Twitter horribly with the tweets a day that I was just complaining about, with all the other stuff he's been doing with paying to be verified. But I mean, it's Twitter. It's it's seasoned. It's been here. This new Instagram thread is the only way I'm gonna get it if I hear something crazy, or if somebody's talking about it saying, this is where you have to be. But just thinking about it, you're not gonna make something that's like Twitter. So I'm probably not gonna get it when it first comes out. But I think it comes out on July 6th. So if you want it, try it. If I see people talking about it, I'll try it too. But no, thank you. That is midweek Garrenteed News. A little quick. Got you guys in less than 10 minutes. You guys have a good rest of your week. I'll see you soon. And like always, subscribe. Dang, I'm moving stuff. Subscribe. Be safe. Have a good week. Eat right. Sleep right. Wash your face. I'll see you guys in a couple of days. That's a wrap.